Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Ray. Welcome to the Massive Wealth Podcast. We're doing a deep dive into AI stocks in 2025 today.
Looking at those expert opinions and market trends.
Yeah, and maybe even a few bold predictions
Exactly.
to kind of help everyone listening navigate this complex world of AI.
It is a complex world.
It is.
But that's why we're here to sift through all the noise and...
Break it down.
Yeah.
We've got some interesting sources here.
We do.
Motley Fool articles,
Yeah.
market analysis,
Uh-huh.
and even some predictions that might raise your eyebrows.
I think there are going to be a few of those.
Okay, so let's start with a company that's on everyone's radar right now, Nvidia.
Sure.
Their stock has just exploded this year,
It has.
up a staggering 166%.
Yeah, it's really been incredible to watch.
What is fueling this incredible growth?
Well, it's not just hype.
Okay.
Nvidia is the dominant force in AI chips right now.
Really the dominant force.
I mean, you think about it, they're powering everything.
Yeah.
From data centers to self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Those graphics processing units, those GPUs that they make,
Right.
they're the industry standard for training and running AI models.
So they're essential.
Absolutely essential, and they're constantly innovating.
So they're not just sitting back and watching the money roll in. They're actually trying to get better.
Oh, yeah, they're very much on the cutting edge.
That's good.
Yeah,
So is it like they're the picks and shovels of this AI gold rush?
that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah, they provide the tools that everyone else needs to mine for AI gold.
I like that analogy.
And one thing that's really interesting about NVIDIA is their new Blackwell GPU.
Okay.
It's set to launch soon, and it's promising even faster performance.
So even faster than what they're doing now.
Yeah, significant improvements,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing considering how powerful their current GPUs are.
And you know what else we found? Morgan Stanley is predicting a 50% increase in spending on AI chips next year.
Wow.
So that could really fuel NVIDIA's continued rise.
I mean, if that prediction comes true, it's going to be huge for NVIDIA.
But there's always competition,
Of
right?
course.
You can't just assume that NVIDIA is going to be the only player of the game forever.
Right.
So who are they up against?
Well, one of their biggest rivals is Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD.
Right.
And they've been making some moves lately. They've secured deals with Microsoft and Meta.
So these are not small players.
No, not at all.
These are big companies that are looking at AMD.
Exactly. And both Microsoft and Meta are heavily invested in AI.
So AMD could be a real threat to NVIDIA's dominance.
They could.
It's not a one-horse race.
Definitely not. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Okay, so that's NVIDIA. We've got the dominant player,
Uh-huh.
but we've also got a potential challenger emerging in AMD.
Right.
Now let's talk about another tech giant with its fingers in the AI pie.
Alphabet.
Google's parent company.
Yeah, exactly.
Big player.
And you know what? One analyst is predicting that Alphabet could actually become more valuable than Apple by the end of 2025.
Wow, that is a bold prediction.
That's a very bold statement. Yeah. Apple's the most valuable company in the world right now.
Exactly. So to say that Alphabet could surpass them, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is. But Alphabet does have a lot going for it in the AI space.
Okay, so why is this even a possibility?
Well, just think about what Alphabet already does.
Okay.
They have massive potential in AI-powered search
Uh-huh.
and cloud computing.
Right.
I mean, Google Search already uses AI to personalize your results.
Yeah.
And their cloud platform, Google Cloud, is a major player in the AI infrastructure space.
Okay, and don't forget about Waymo.
Oh, that's right. Their self-driving car venture.
Exactly, and they're racking up some pretty impressive numbers there too.
Yeah, they're definitely making progress in that space.
So they've got the potential, but are there any roadblocks? Are there any challenges that they're facing?
Yeah, there are some challenges.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is regulatory scrutiny.
Okay.
The Justice Department is putting pressure on Alphabet over potential antitrust violations.
That's never good.
No, it's not.
So how could this impact Alphabet's future?
Well, a court ruling against them could significantly impact their growth.
So it's kind of a waiting game to see how this all plays out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a bit of the wild card right now.
So it's a high-risk, high-reward situation for investors.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we've got NVIDIA. They're the chip leader.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this huge growth potential, but they've also got some competition from AMD.
Right.
Then we've got Alphabet with a ton of potential in AI.
Yeah.
But they're facing these regulatory hurdles.
Yeah. It's a complex landscape.
Okay, so we've talked about the big two, NVIDIA and Alphabet, but the AI world is so much bigger than just those two companies.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a whole booming field.
It is a rapidly growing field.
So who else is playing the AI game?
Well, you've got Microsoft, who are pouring tons of money into OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT.
Yeah, they're going all in on AI.
Yeah, they are.
And what about Meta?
Meta is building out their own AI capabilities.
Okay.
And they're even poaching top talent from competitors like Salesforce.
So they're serious about it.
Very serious.
It seems like everybody wants a piece of the action.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the future we're talking about.
And we can't forget about those startups.
Right, the up-and-comers.
Like CoreWeave.
Yeah, they're providing specialized infrastructure for AI, and they're attracting some major clients.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely one to watch.
So we've got the big players.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the established companies that are making big moves.
Right.
And then we've got these startups that are emerging with these really specialized solutions.
It's an exciting time to be following the AI market.
What does all this mean for the average person who's interested in investing in AI?
Well, it means that AI is already changing the world, and the companies that are leading the charge are poised for significant growth.
Well, it's not just a tech thing, it's a global phenomenon.
Exactly. It's going to impact all of us.
But how can people actually make money from this?
Understanding these trends can help you make informed investment decisions.
So do your research.
Absolutely.
Stay informed.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, that's good advice for anything, really.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part.
Yeah, we have.
From Nvidia's chip dominance to Alphabet's potential to surpass Apple.
It's been a whirlwind.
We've also talked about the broader AI landscape and why understanding these trends is so crucial for investors.
Absolutely.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
That's right. There's so much more to discuss.
Exactly.
From the rise of specialized AI companies to the ethical implications of this technology.
That's a whole other can of worms
It is.
that we'll have to open another time.
Oh, really?
But for now, we're going to wrap up this first part of our deep dive into AI stocks in 2025.
Looking forward to diving deeper in part 2.
Yeah, so if you're as fascinated by this revolution as we are, be sure to join us then.
Picking up where we left off, I think it's interesting to look beyond the giants like Nvidia, Alphabet, and Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's this whole ecosystem of AI companies that are emerging, each with their own unique approach and potential for growth.
It's kind of like a garden.
Yeah.
Where you've got these big trees like the redwoods, the Nvidias and the Alphabets.
Yeah.
But you've also got all these smaller plants and flowers that are vying for their own space in the sun.
Exactly. And some of those smaller plants could turn out to be giant sequoias in the future.
So we shouldn't just dismiss them because they're small now.
Exactly.
It could be the next big thing.
That's the beauty of emerging markets.
Okay, so give me an example of one of these smaller companies that you think has a lot of potential.
Well, one that comes to mind is CoreWeave.
CoreWeave.
Yeah, they're a startup
So,
that's providing specialized cloud infrastructure specifically designed for AI workloads.
so they're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're focused on this one specific niche.
Exactly. And their technology is attracting some major clients because it's optimized for the intense computing power that AI requires.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
If you can be the best at one thing, that's often better than being mediocre at a bunch of things.
I agree, and that's why I think CoreWeave is one to watch.
And it reminds us that sometimes the most exciting opportunities are with these companies that are flying under the radar,
Absolutely.
the ones that aren't getting all the headlines yet.
Yeah, investors who are willing to do their research and look beyond the household names could potentially uncover some hidden gems in the AI space.
That's a good point. You don't always have to follow the crowd.
No, I don't.
Sometimes it pays to be a contrarian.
It does.
Okay. So we've talked about Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, and now this interesting startup CoreWeave. What about a company that's kind of in between?
Okay.
Not a giant, but not a tiny startup either.
Sure.
What about Palantir?
Oh, Palantir. That's an interesting one.
Their stock has been doing really well this year.
It has surging over 341%.
That's huge.
It is.
So what's driving that kind of growth?
Well, Palantir specializes in data analytics, and they've really positioned themselves as a leader in AI-powered solutions, particularly for government and enterprise clients.
So they're not building the chips and the algorithms themselves. They're more focused on helping organizations use that stuff effectively.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They're building the bridge between raw data and actionable insights.
So they're kind of like the translators of the AI world.
I like that analogy. Yeah, they help organizations make sense of all the data that's out there and use it to make better decisions.
Okay, so they're playing a crucial role in the AI ecosystem, but they're doing it in a different way than a company like Nvidia.
Right. They're not building the foundational technology, but they're essential for helping organizations actually put that technology to work.
It's like you need the builders to construct the house, but you also need the interior designers to make it livable.
I like that analogy.
Okay, so we've talked about Nvidia, Alphabet, Microsoft, CoreWeave, and Palantir. We're starting to get a sense of just how vast and diverse this AI landscape really is.
It really is. There are companies of all sizes and specializations contributing to this technological revolution.
It's amazing to think about all the different ways that AI is being used and developed.
And for investors, it means that there are tons of different opportunities out there.
But it also means that it can be a bit overwhelming.
It can be.
How do you even begin to navigate all of this?
Well, that's what we're here for, to help break it all down and make it a little less daunting.
So let's talk about some key takeaways for investors.
Sure.
We've covered a lot of ground. So what are the most important things our listeners should remember?
Well, the first takeaway is that AI is here to stay.
It's not going away.
It's not a fad. It's a fundamental shift that's going to impact every industry and every aspect of our lives.
So ignoring AI is not an option.
If you want to be a successful investor, you need to understand how AI is changing the game.
How it's changing the game.
Both in terms of the companies leading the charge and the broader economic and societal implications.
Okay, so AI is important, but it's also a very broad field. So what else should investors keep in mind?
Well, as we've discussed, the AI landscape is incredibly diverse.
Right. We've seen that.
There are opportunities across the board, from chip makers to software developers to data analytics firms.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach to AI investing.
Right. You need to do your research and find companies that align with your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
Okay, that makes sense.
And another thing to remember is that investing in AI is a long game.
A marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
The market can be volatile, and there will be bumps along the road.
But for investors who are patient, informed, and strategic, the potential rewards could be significant.
So it's about having a plan and sticking to it.
And being prepared for the long haul.
Okay, so we've established that AI is a big deal. There are many ways to invest in it.
Right.
And it's a long-term game.
Exactly.
Now let's get a little more specific. What are some key trends that investors should be paying attention to in 2025 and beyond?
Okay, well, one major trend is the increasing demand for specialized AI hardware and software.
So what does that mean?
It means that companies like Nvidia are seeing explosive growth in their data center businesses because their GPUs are essential for training and running those large, complex AI models.
Oh, right. We were talking about that earlier.
And it's not just about the chips themselves.
Okay.
It's also about the software that makes those chips work.
So the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. We're seeing the rise of specialized AI software platforms and tools that are designed to make it easier for businesses to develop and deploy AI applications.
So that's another area where investors can find exciting opportunities.
It is.
Okay, so we've got the hardware side and we've got the software side.
Yeah,
Both of those are important.
they are.
What other trends should we be watching?
Another important trend is the increasing focus on AI ethics and regulation.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It is.
As AI becomes more powerful,
And more pervasive.
there are going to be more and more concerns about its potential impact on society.
Exactly.
From job displacement to algorithmic bias.
And it's not just about the technology itself. It's about using it responsibly and ethically.
So investors need to be aware of the ethical and regulatory landscape because they can have a significant impact on the long-term viability of AI companies.
Absolutely. It's not just about finding companies that are developing cool technologies. It's also about finding companies that are operating ethically and responsibly.
Okay, so it's about finding companies that are doing things the right way.
Yes, investors need to consider both the technological and the ethical dimensions of AI.
So it's a more holistic approach.
It is.
You can't just focus on the technology. You have to think about the bigger picture.
Right. Both will play a crucial role in shaping the future of this industry.
Okay, so we've talked about specialized hardware and software, the growing focus on AI ethics, and the need for a long-term perspective. What else should investors be thinking about as they navigate this world of AI stocks?
One thing to keep in mind is that the AI market is still relatively young and evolving rapidly.
That's like the Wild West out there.
It kind of is. There's a lot of hype and speculation, which can make it difficult to separate real opportunities from empty promises.
So how do you do that? How do you separate the wheat from the chaff?
Well, the first step is to do your research.
Of course.
Understand the fundamentals of the businesses you're investing in and be prepared for some volatility.
Because it's not going to be a smooth ride.
It's similar to any emerging market. There's potential for big rewards, but also for significant risks.
So you have to be comfortable with that level of risk.
Exactly. And it's crucial to have a clear investment strategy.
So don't just jump in blindly.
No, have a plan.
Okay.
And be prepared to adjust that plan as needed because things can change quickly in this space.
We've talked a lot about the potential upside of AI,
Uh-huh.
all the amazing things that it could do.
Right.
But what about the potential downsides? Are there any risks that investors should be aware of?
Oh, of course. Every investment comes with risks.
Okay, so what are some of the potential pitfalls that AI investors should be watching out for?
One potential risk is that AI development could hit a wall.
You mean like it could stop progressing as quickly as it has been?
Yeah, we've seen incredible progress in recent years,
Yeah.
but there's no guarantee that this pace of innovation will continue indefinitely.
Okay, so it's possible that the AI bubble could burst if progress slows down, or if the technology fails to live up to the hype.
It's possible.
So what can investors do to protect themselves from that risk?
Well, the key is to invest in companies that have a strong track record of innovation
Okay.
and a clear roadmap for the future.
So you want to see that they're not just riding the current wave, but that they're actually planning for what's next.
Exactly. You want to see that they're thinking ahead.
Okay. What other risks should investors be thinking about?
Another risk is the potential for regulatory backlash.
Oh, right. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, as AI becomes more powerful and more widespread,
Oh.
there are growing concerns about its ethical implications, and governments around the world are starting to figure out how to regulate this technology.
So it's possible that new regulations could stifle innovation
It is.
or make it more difficult for AI companies to operate.
Right.
So it's a balancing act.
It is.
Governments want to encourage innovation, but they also want to make sure that AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Right, and investors need to be aware of that tension.
Okay, so we've covered the potential upsides, the potential downsides, and some key trends to watch.
Uh-huh.
Let's bring it back to the individual investor.
Sure.
What advice would you give to someone who's interested in getting started with AI investing?
Well, the first piece of advice is to start with education.
Right.
Take the time to learn about the basics of AI, the different types of companies operating in this space, and the key trends shaping the industry.
So don't just jump in blindly, do your homework first.
Exactly. The more you understand about AI, the better equipped you'll be to make informed investment decisions.
Okay, what other advice would you give?
Well, once you have a basic understanding of AI, the next step is to develop an investment strategy. Determine your investment goals, your risk tolerance, and the amount of capital you're willing to allocate to AI stocks.
So have a plan.
And stick to it.
Don't get caught up in the hype or make impulsive decisions.
Right.
Have a clear strategy.
And make sure your AI investments align with your overall financial goals.
Okay, that makes sense. What are the specific companies or sectors? Any advice there?
Well, as we've discussed, there are many ways to play the AI game. You could invest in chip makers like Nvidia cloud providers like Google or Microsoft software developers or data analytics companies.
So lots of options.
Yeah, the key is to find companies that are leaders in their respective fields and that have a solid track record of innovation and growth.
So look for quality companies
Exactly.
with a proven track record.
And remember, diversification is key.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. Spread your AI investments across different companies and sectors to mitigate risk.
Okay, so educate yourself, develop a strategy, focus on quality companies, and diversify. That's great advice. Anything else you'd add?
The last piece of advice is to stay informed. The AI landscape is constantly changing, so it's crucial to keep up with the latest news trends and developments.
So read industry publications, follow thought leaders, and keep your finger on the pulse of the AI revolution.
Absolutely. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the exciting world of AI investing.
This has been a fantastic discussion about AI stocks so far.
It has been.
We've covered a lot of ground, but as you can see, there's still so much more to explore.
Definitely.
And that's why we're not done yet in the next part of this episode.
Part 3.
We'll delve even deeper into the future of AI investing, exploring the trends, opportunities, and potential risks that lie ahead.
Sounds good.
So if you're ready to continue this journey with us, be sure to join us for part 3 of our deep dive into AI stocks in 2025. Welcome back to our deep dive into AI stocks for 2025.
Part 3.
We've explored the major players, the rising stars, and the key trends that are shaping this dynamic sector.
Lots to talk about. It's a fascinating space.
It really is now.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does the future hold for AI investing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It feels like we're at this pivotal moment where AI is moving from science fiction into our everyday reality.
It's not just a futuristic concept anymore.
No, it's very much here and now.
Yeah, it's happening.
Which is exciting.
It is exciting.
But also a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, how do we even begin to grasp the scale of what's happening?
It's a big question.
It is.
But I think one way to approach it is to think about AI investing in terms of waves of innovation.
Okay, waves of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So the first wave, which we're kind of riding right now, is focused on foundational technologies.
The building blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
This is where companies like Nvidia are excelling, providing the hardware and software that power AI development and deployment.
So this wave is all about building the infrastructure.
Yeah, building the foundation for everything that's going to come next.
Okay, so the infrastructure is the first wave. What comes after that?
Well, the second wave is all about applications.
Okay.
This is where we'll start to see AI being integrated into almost every aspect of our lives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from healthcare and finance to transportation and entertainment.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about how AI is used to solve real-world problems.
Right. It's about using AI to make our lives easier, more efficient, more enjoyable.
And to create new possibilities.
Exactly.
So this wave is going to create a whole new set of investment opportunities.
I think so.
As companies emerge to develop these AI-powered solutions for specific industries and use cases.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what people come up with.
It's kind of like the internet all over again.
Right.
First, we built the infrastructure, and then we saw this explosion of creativity and innovation.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see something similar with AI.
Okay, so we've got the first wave of infrastructure, the second wave of applications. Is there a third wave on the horizon?
There might be.
Okay.
This one is a little more speculative, but I think it will center around what I call AI augmentation.
AI augmentation. Okay, that sounds intriguing. What do you mean by that?
Well, this is where AI goes beyond simply automating tasks or offering insights. It's about actually enhancing human capabilities.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about making us better.
Exactly. It's about helping us achieve things that were previously impossible.
Give me an example.
Sure. Well, we're already seeing glimpses of this with technologies like brain-computer interfaces.
Oh, wow.
And personalized medicine, but the true potential is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It does, but it's becoming increasingly real.
It's pretty amazing to think about what the world might look like in 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, and for investors who are willing to embrace the unknown and invest in the future, the potential rewards are enormous.
Okay, but let's be realistic here. Investing in any emerging technology comes with risks.
Right.
What are some of the potential pitfalls that AI investors should be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest risks is overhyping.
Yeah, there's so much excitement surrounding AI that it's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah, and make impulsive decisions.
So don't believe everything you read.
Absolutely.
Do your own research.
And remember that not every AI company is going to be a winner.
So how do you separate the good investments from the bad ones?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Look for companies with solid fundamentals, a clear vision, and a proven track record.
Don't just chase the latest hot stock.
Right. Focus on the companies that are actually building something valuable.
Okay. What other risks should investors be watching out for?
Another risk is regulatory uncertainty.
Oh, right. We talked about that before.
Yeah, governments are still trying to figure out how to regulate AI.
It's new territory for everyone.
It is. And new laws and regulations could have a big impact on the profitability and growth of AI companies.
So stay informed.
Absolutely.
Keep up with the latest developments.
And be prepared to adapt your investment strategy as needed.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about the potential, the risks, and the importance of staying informed.
Right.
What are some practical steps investors can take to get started with AI investing?
Well, one of the easiest ways to get started is to invest in a broad-based technology ETF.
Okay.
That includes exposure to AI companies.
So you're not picking individual stocks.
Right. You're getting diversified exposure to the sector.
Okay, so that's a good way to dip your toes in the water.
Yeah, and as you learn more about AI and identify specific companies that you're interested in, you can start building a portfolio of individual stocks.
And there are a lot of resources available for learning more about AI.
Oh, absolutely. Tons of great resources online in libraries.
Books, articles, podcasts.
Yeah, you can even take online courses.
Yeah, so there's no excuse for not being informed.
Right, information is power. especially in a field like AI.
This deep dive into the world of AI stocks has been incredibly insightful,
I agree.
and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
But hopefully our conversation has provided listeners with a better understanding of this complex and exciting landscape.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they embark on their own AI investing journey?
Sure, stay curious, stay informed, and don't be afraid to embrace the unknown. The future of AI is full of possibilities.
And for those who are prepared to ride the wave.
The rewards could be extraordinary.
Well said. That's a great note to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI stocks. We hope you found it informative and insightful. And remember, the best way to stay ahead in the world of AI investing is to keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. Do not forget to subscribe.